Hi everyone, welcome to the Concept Hacks. So today in this lecture we are going to discuss about the different cell signaling. What are the different types of cell signalings we have or our cells basically use to communicate with each other. So first one we'll discuss, that is the autocrine signaling. So what is an autocrine signaling? We'll first discuss. Let's suppose this is one cell. If the molecule or the signaling molecule will come out, suppose this is one signaling molecule, and if the signaling molecule will come out and it will bind on its own surface. Suppose this is one signaling molecule, it will coming out and it binds with the cell surface receptors of its own cell surface. So this is a cell. When this particular cell eject one particular signaling molecule, and when this signaling molecule will come out and it's bind upon its own cell surface receptors, then we'll call it as autocrine. Auto means self. So that's why it is called as autocrine signaling. So in this case we can find, if cell signaling molecule coming from its own and it's bind upon its own cell surface receptor, then it will called as a autocrine signaling. Next one is paracrine. In case of paracrine, para means near. Para means near. So here what happened, this is one cell and this is another cell, and here we have one cell surface receptor. This is the receptor. Now what happened, one signaling molecule, it will come out, and if it will bind at the nearby cell, this is a nearby cell, and this is our first cell, and this is the nearby cell. This is a very short distance. So this is a short distance. When two signal communicate in between a short distance, or when nearby two cells, when they communicate, then it is called as paracrine signaling. Para means near or nearby. Near or nearby means para, and self means auto. So when one particular cell is give or eject one signaling molecule, and that particular signaling molecule will bind with a nearby cell surface receptor of a nearby cell, then it will called as paracrine signaling. This is one cell, this is our signaling molecule. This signaling molecule is coming out and it is binding with the cell surface receptor upon a nearby cell, then it is called as a paracrine signaling. Para means near, nearby, short distance. Here in case of our autocrine, what happens, here cell signaling molecule is coming from, suppose this is cell A. So signaling molecule is coming from cell A and it is binding on its own receptor. In that case it is called as a autocrine. Signaling molecule is coming from A and it is binding in upon the cell receptor of A only. That's why when signaling molecule is coming from a cell and that particular signaling molecule is binding on the same cell receptors, then it is called as autocrine. Here signaling molecule is coming from A cell and this is B cell. Signaling molecule is coming from A cell and is binding upon the cell surface receptor of B cell, and distance between A and B is short. Okay, so this is the concept. So what's the example of our autocrine? One of the major example is liver regeneration. Liver regeneration. So for example, this is our liver. If our one cell is damaged, then what will happen? Our neighboring cell will secrete one signaling molecule, and it will divide, and it will fulfill the requirement of the dead cell. So here, for cell division, mainly cell division is mainly carried out by these kind of autocrine signaling, more specifically in our liver. In liver regeneration means what? It's developing, regenerate. So one cell, when it's divided into two, in that case, in our liver, these kind of autocrine signalings are used. So this is the one of the example, liver regeneration or cell division. We can say in liver cell division, hepatocyte cell division. Here, these kind of autocrine signalings are used. What are the example of our paracrine signaling? It is the interleukins 2, one kind of hormones which is released by our T cells. T helper cell, this is a T helper cell. It's a helper cell or T helper cell, one of the major immune cell found WBC, one of the major kind of our immunological cells. So in case of T cells or T lymphocytes, interleukins signalings are going on, basically the paracrine signaling. When particular virus or bacteria attack cell number 1, then it will send that particular signal, that interleukin 2 from cell A, and that particular interleukin will go and bind with the cell number B. So that's why this signaling is called as paracrine signaling. Short distance interleukins is traveling from A cell to B cell, and it's bind upon the cell surface receptor. So this kind of signaling is called as paracrine signaling. Example is interleukin 2, and here autocrine is liver regeneration. Then next one is our endocrine signaling. Next one is endocrine signaling. In endocrine signaling, what happen? From our pituitary gland, for example, this is pituitary. From our pituitary gland, suppose this is our pituitary gland, and from the pituitary gland, it secretes some hormones into blood vessels. These are our hormones it's secreting, and then these blood vessels will go and act upon another particular cell which is far away from our pituitary gland, far away from pituitary. If the cell secreting a particular kind of hormones or amines or any kind of substances, and then the particular hormones is traveling with our blood vessel, through the blood vessels to a far away distance, it travels and it reaches to another portion. For example, this kind of secretion we are considering is a FSH. It is the follicle stimulating hormone secreted by our anterior pituitary. So these follicle stimulating hormones will travel across our blood vessel, and it will reach our follicles which are present in our reproductive system. Then it will stimulate all the follicles and to develop some kind of our gametes, which is the sperm or ovum. So here FSH is secreting from our pituitary gland, and pituitary gland is present in our head, in our brain. and those follicles are present inside our reproductive system, which is present at the lower part of our abdominal cavity. So from brain to abdominal lower part of our abdominal lower abdominal cavity or pelvic region it's present, pelvic region. So from brain through to pelvic region, it's a very long distance. It's not just like the paracrine, whereas the distance is very short. Here also one kind of cell is secreting one particular hormones and another one is receiving, and there is a distance they need to travel. But here in that case the distance is very short. But when we are considering the endocrine signaling, here the distance is very much, it's far away from the site of secretion to site of action. They need to travel from brain to reproductive system of reproductive organs. So from brain to reproductive organs, those are present in our pelvic region or lower abdominal cavity. So in that case, what happened? They need to travel a very far distance. So that's signaling is called as endocrine signaling. Here is the cell is same. Here is the cell first secrete that particular hormone into our blood vessels through the circulatory system. Now it will go and reach the another site where that particular hormones will received by the cell surface. Again it will receiving will be definitely through the cell surfacing. Receiving will through the cell surface. Here the particular cell ejecting all this kind of hormone into blood vessels, and through the blood vessel it will reach to the site of action, and that particular cell will receive those hormones by the receptors. Those are attached on the cell surface. The same just like our paracrine. One particular cell is secreting one hormone and another one is receiving through cell surface receptors. Here same, one cell is secreting one hormones and the particular another cell will receiving those hormones by the cell surface receptors. But the difference is now the distance is more. Here the distance is short, it's a very short distance. Now here is a very much more distance they need to travel. These are the three basic difference of autocrine, paracrine and endocrine. Now what happened in case of juxtacrine? So in case of juxtacrine signaling, what happened? Let's suppose this is our signaling molecule. This is our A cell, this is B cell, these are the nucleus. So this is our green color signaling molecule. In case of juxtacrine, there is a direct physical contact. The cell should have the direct physical contact. Means just like this. There is no space in between them. So they should have a direct physical contact. So our green color molecule will directly go to the red side, from A side to B side, from A cell to B cell. So it will directly cross the membrane and it will reach to B cell. So when these kind of signaling molecules occur, one signaling molecule is crossing the membrane of another cell, then it's called a juxtacrine. Why they can cross the membrane? Because there is no space in between the two cells. There is a direct contact in between the two cells. That's why this kind of transport could be occurred. So in case of juxtacrine, there should be direct contact, has to be followed for juxtacrine signaling. Without direct physical contact, this kind of transport of signaling molecule could not be possible. So when there is a direct contact in between cells, the cell may choose for juxtacrine signaling. One of the major example is when there are kind of viral infections. When some kind of viral infections occur, then the antiviral, suppose A cell is infected with some kind of virus, then so our body will automatically make some kind of antivirals So those antivirus or antibody against that particular antigen, that signaling is basically goes through this kind of Juxtacrine signaling. When a cell receives that particular infected with kind of antigen or viruses, then A cell automatically sends some other signaling molecules through this kind of Juxtacrine signaling, so that B virus could automatically make some kind of antibodies against the particular virus. So that particular antibody will then, when this kind of bacteria or virus or antigen come to the B cell, our B cell will already ready with all kind of weapons to destroy a particular virus or bacteria or antigen. So this kind of signaling, when there is a direct contact in between our cell, then those signalings are called as Juxtacrine signaling. So hope you like this video. Thank you.